I think this may have cost me the rest of my season. So just to give you guys a little bit of backstory, pretty much what had happened was that
Imagine, if you will, sitting down to your morning coffee, turning on your home computer to read the day's newspaper. Well, it's not as far-fetched as it may seem. In fact, both local San Francisco papers are investing a lot of money to try and get a service just like that started. Science editor Steve Newman reports on one person already using the brand.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Live You Learn podcast. My name is Matthew. I am now 16 years old. I actually started this podcast when I was 15. To give you guys a brief background on who I am, for those who haven't seen my other previous episodes. Basically, I am a 16-year-old kid who, kind of just wants to make an impact on this world and make an inspiration and, try to help out others. If you want more information about who I am, my reason for this podcast, be sure to check out the first episode. You could, check out the first episode now and then come back to this episode later, or, do the opposite. Check this episode first and then go back to that one. But yeah, oh man, it's been a while. I mean, it's been like 3 months now since I last posted. I mean, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry for the gap. I know I was consistent at one point, but, to be fair, I've a lot of things have changed since the last time I posted. The last time I posted was January 11th of 2022. Things have been different. School, I've had a lot of, school homework projects to do. And also baseball. Baseball's coming off. It's starting off, I'm currently on JV, so baseball right now for me it's not going so good, if I'm being honest. JV is not doing so good. It's hard because we have a bunch of new kids right now, and some kids have little experience of baseball, but most of them don't. We got kids coming in from even outside of the country, but obviously I'm not gonna say too much because they're my guys, dude. They although their skill might not be all there, they have good heart, and that's all you could really say about that. Let's see what else. Oh, and speaking of baseball, I have some bad news. So basically, I think I have a torn ligament in my left knee. Now, if you don't believe me, I don't really care. But that's the truth. Know that. So just to give you guys a little bit of backstory, pretty much what had happened was that, it happened to me during practice, and it was preseason of baseball. It was preseason, and basically what had happened is I was trying to slide. I was playing the infield, and I was trying to slide for a ball to try to stop it. And basically what had happened is while I slid, I pretty much landed on my knees. I didn't really make a correct slide, if that makes sense. I was trying to stop the ball while sliding because I knew I didn't have a chance to just put my hand out. I had to make some sort of effort into it. So basically I slid, but I slid on top of my knees. I didn't hear a tear, I didn't hear a pop. So I was able to get back up, throw the ball right and everything. But after I had made the play, I checked my knee, and boy, that baby was swollen. It was, huge. Then all of a sudden, one of my teammates see that I'm, pretty injured, and so they go on to tell my coach. And my coach comes over and he does this stress test on me, which is basically this test to try to feel the knee to see if it's correct or not. I don't really know how to explain it, but here, what's the correct definition of a stress test? Let's search that up right now. Stress test, because basically it's it's like like if the knee. All I know is that if the knee. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just not. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what exactly. It says, what is a walking stress test? It says, it is used to assess the integrity of the medial collateral ligament, the MCL of the knee. So that, yeah, okay. So basically what had happened is my coach, he pulls on my knee, right? And he pulls on the left one, which is the injured one. And basically what it is that my knee would glide every time he pulled it. Now, if it glided, that wasn't a good sign. When he did it to my right knee, my perfectly good knee, it would just lock in place, which is exactly what you want. So we're not entirely sure if it's a torn ligament. It's because, like, okay, I'm currently in the process of getting it figured out what it is. My coach thinks that it's an MCL. Well, at least he's hoping it's an MCL and not an ACL. But I think this may have cost me the rest of my season. Because pretty much if it's an MCL, it's gonna take at least 3 months to recover. And that's literally when baseball ends. I mean, baseball season started in February, right? And then from February to mid-March, it was all like preseason games. Like in March 22nd, I think is when we started doing regular season games. But that was in that gap, like in between in preseason, that's when I had injured my knee. So I haven't even gotten a chance to play an actual season game yet. And we're already doing pretty bad. And I mean, it sucks. It really sucks. And so an MCL takes 3 months to recover. So that's to be, right now we're in April. So that would be ending in like April, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and July. That's pretty much when we're out and we're in summer. Yeah, that's pretty much the rest of my season. If it's an ACL, well, that's going to be even worse because that's a whole year of recovery. Well, I mean, let's hope for the best. I have my call scheduled with my doctor actually tomorrow or on the 7th of April. I don't know when I'll post this, but so I'm gonna be able to, finally get the details of what's wrong. I already took my MRIs, I already took my x-rays. Luckily it's no bone damage, but obviously we may think it's a tear. At least that's the idea for now. But I'll make sure to keep you guys in touch, let you guys know what is wrong. Hopefully it's nothing big, and hopefully it's just a little hit. Maybe it just got swollen up by itself like that, because sometimes that's what happens when you get a hit and like the knee just swells up, and usually it's nothing big. So yeah, let's hope for the best. But moving on, that's basically what's happening with me right now. So that's one of the main reasons why I haven't posted. Now another thing is that lately I've been thinking about where I want to go with this podcast coming into 2022. I've been thinking about really what I want to do with this podcast. I've been kind of looking back at my previous episodes from episodes 1 to 3, and I've changed my goals. As a matter of fact, I've had, I wanted to make this podcast a little bit different, because in my first 3 episodes, my goals were that I wanted to have an impact on the world, that I wanted special guest stars onto the show, and I wanted to become big and famous. Now, to be fair, I didn't know much about podcasting. I didn't even do my research. I just thought of it like, hey, I'm gonna do a podcast. I like to talk, so why not just give it a try. But then, like I said, I take this time to really reflect on what I wanted to do with this podcast and kind of think about it more and kind of spread my knowledge when it comes to podcasting, because you really got to think about what you really want to do with this podcast and the type of people that you want to attract, the type of people you want to people to come together with. So as I was thinking that, I try to come up with some 3 different goals maybe. So for instance, one of my goals now is really to make this podcast into somewhat an environment where people would, just come together. They would put my episode on and they would just listen and laugh and talk, pretty much get like topics to talk about from the content that I release. And that, because one thing that I've noticed in this world is that, for instance, electronic devices have a lot of influence on people, and they're starting to, bring more addiction, really. People are starting to become more addicted to their phones, so I don't want that happening. I don't, that's one of my greatest fears. I could really talk about that all day, but I'm not going to. Maybe we might save that for another episode. But yeah, basically that's one of my goals that I want to do for this podcast. Now another being that I want to impact people's days. I want to I want to start people's days off right. I want people to like as soon as they wake up, I want them to go to Spotify, go to YouTube, and just turn on my podcast, one of my episodes, and hopefully it makes their day as soon as they wake up. Or I just wanna make people laugh, really. I want people to be happy. And then lastly, another one of my goals would be to not just be known as a motivating podcast. I want to kind of expand my topics. I want to really talk more about everyday things, if that makes sense. Like, looking back at my first 3 episodes, I was always so serious and I was so, obviously, out of serious came with inspiration, but I don't just want to be known for inspiring people. I also want to be known for making people laugh and, making people happy. So, and I can't do that if I keep going in the same direction I've been going, with my first 3 episodes. Like, I was looking back on my 4th episode, the episode that I did with my cousin, which, by the way, if you haven't seen already, be sure to check that one out. That one I did talk a little bit more about the things that are going on in the natural world. Like, for instance, I remember we brought up the topic of Spider-Man, how, because that's when the movie was barely coming out. The movie came out last year in 2021 in December, and I posted in January of 22nd. So that was one of the biggest topics in that time. Right now, Spider-Man is still big, but not as big. Right now, there's future movies, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, like natural things like that. And I feel like that attracts more audience, and I feel like that attracts more people into the podcast. That's what people want to hear more about, not just, me being so serious all the time. But yeah, just things like that. Things like that I want to talk about more. Now, when it comes to expanding my topics, I have 3 main topics that I think would really benefit my podcast. Now, before I go into more details, I just want to quick reminder saying that, if you guys haven't subscribed, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. For those that are listening to this on Spotify, please share this podcast with anybody, any love members, any friends, families. Tell them about my podcast, man. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Just let them know what I'm saying, what I'm doing, and how I'm trying to create a well environment. I want people to come together. I want people to laugh together. And hold on, I'm trying to fix my notes. Please do share. So going into more details, pretty much some of the topics that I would like to cover out would be like, for instance, like number 1 would be TV shows, upcoming films and books, and their theories. So like, for instance, right now, some of the most famous shows right now, or the most popular, is like Marvel's Moon Knight, which came out, which I haven't seen, by the way, but it looks pretty sick. It looks epic. I haven't even read any of the comics, and it's sad because like I'm a pretty big Marvel fan. Like I enjoy Avengers. Like those are my type of movies. And I don't know, I just like superheroes in general. It's like it's just my type of thing. Like I know a lot of people would agree with me. And now when it comes to theories though, like for instance the new movie that's releasing on May the 4th of 2022, that is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now there's a lot of rumors going on about that movie. Like for instance, I actually have a theory that movie is probably going to be the foundation for future Marvel movies to come, like because it has to deal with a lot of the multiverse and alternate realities and things like that. Like that's definitely going to be the foundation for new upcoming movies. Like for instance, I know that Morbius just came out on the 1st of April. Who knows, maybe they might, the reason they created that movie was because after the Multiverse of Madness, after Doctor Strange 2 pretty much, Morbius might join in the gang, and they might somehow connect Morbius with Spider-Man, because Morbius has a lot to do with Spider-Man, and because that's his antagonist. And I don't know, that's really my theory. If you guys have more theories about that, please do tell. Let me know, in the comments, or DM me or whatever. But moving on, yeah, things like that. Those are the type of like theories or like TV shows that I want to talk about, and I'll do my research on topics like that. Another topic that I would like to cover too is mainly like news and current affairs. Like for instance, talking about the Will Smith incident that happened at the Oscars. I mean, basically that's already old news now. That happened like probably like a week ago now, or like 3 weeks ago maybe. But basically, if you haven't heard about that already, it's just so basically what happened is Will Smith so Chris Rock I don't even know where to begin. So Chris Rock was on stage at the Oscars. He was giving out the nominees for I think the best documentary or something like that. I don't know. But before he handed out the award, he was basically I guess you could consider roasting Jada Smith, which is Will Smith's wife. What he said was because due to Jada Smith, right now Jada Smith is going through a hair condition. She's going through a medical condition. She doesn't have, as much hair. So she's kind of bald a little bit, not completely bald, but she just really has short hair. And so basically Chris Rock made a joke about it and said, Jada Smith, can't wait to see you on G.I. Jane 2 or something like that, which for those of you that don't know, G.I. Jane is pretty much like this action movie, I think. I've never seen it, but due to the cover, it looks like an action movie. And the main protagonist is, some lady with short hair. Pretty much like how Jada Smith looks like right now. So basically, Chris Rock made a joke about that and said, I can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane 2. And Will Smith did not like this at all. He did not like this. He went onto the stage and he basically smacked across the face of Chris Rock. Now, when you look at this slap, it looks like it was all, it looks like it was all staged, if I'm being honest. It just like the way he slapped and then the way Chris Rock took it, it looked all staged. Now, was it staged? No, it was not. It was not completely staged. It was all true. It was all I thought it's because Chris Rock took that slap. Let's be real. Let's all be real. Chris Rock took that slap. All right. He ate it, and it literally did not faze him at all. Cause after the slap, he literally made a joke about it, saying that that might be, I think, what did he say? Like that may be the best night of television or something like that. And that's why it's just shocking, because Will Smith, I never believed that Will Smith will lose his cool like that. Because literally after the slap, he would go on to he would yell at Chris Rock and say, keep his wife's name out of his mouth. And he was angry. He was really angry about it. And I thought it was a good joke, if I'm being honest. I thought, we were all, it's the Oscars. What do you expect? Obviously there's going to be roasts. You literally have comedians. But, and then again, Will Smith, what are you doing, buddy? You can't take a joke. Okay, if you didn't like it, there was no need for you to lose your cool and go, about it, in public. You could have talked to Chris Rock personally, pulled him aside or something, and be like, hey, I didn't really like your joke that you put out. Take it like a man, and friggin' do it on your own time, not make yourself look like a fool. I don't know. It's just that's my thought. I don't know about what you guys think about it, but like I said, that's old news. That's all old news. And I find it funny though, because this, for instance, this specific example goes well with news and current affairs, because when it comes to news and current affairs, it's an important topic, really. It catches people's eyes because people are just fascinated by the idea of drama or potential death, and I think if I talk about things like that, like Will Smith's slap, which, by the way, Will Smith did go out and apologize. He did apologize for the slap, and he apologized, I think, to the Academy or whatever. Who knows? That might be the end of Will Smith. No, I'm just kidding. He did go on to win an Oscar, by the way, which I find very funny. After he just slapped somebody, he just goes on to win the Oscar. And they say that they're gonna take away his Oscar, but I say there's no point of it. There's really no point of it. Dude, he literally got a trophy. He literally has tons of it. What's the point of taking one away if he already has millions of them? If he loses one, it's not gonna kill him. It's just that simple. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's all dumb. But anyways, things like that really fascinate people. It fascinates me, even though I say it doesn't. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But moving on, another topic that I would like to really cover going on with this podcast might be my favorite topic out of all of them, and that is, sports. See, when it comes to sports, I really enjoy talking about them, and I really do like explaining them, really, and just all types of sports, to really give a brief background on how sports came to be upon my life. So basically, I pretty much grew up loving baseball since I was the age of 5, I think. I played all farm ball, and then I played all the way up to high school baseball. I'd never played travel ball though, I will say, which was pretty difficult because those were the 2 years that I needed to go straight from travel ball to high school. But I couldn't afford it. Travel ball is expensive, man. And travel ball really is expensive. But yeah, I pretty much played baseball my entire life. And then as I got older, I try to expand my knowledge and my love for just sports in general. So for instance, I learned more about soccer and basketball, and football, and even tennis and cricket ball, really, just all sports in general. And I just, all of a sudden, I really just like sports in general. It's I used to say that I just love baseball in general, but then I found my love for other sports, and now I say I'm a really big sports fan. See, but when it comes to talking about sports, because sports is a really big thing, obviously, with baseball season starting now, in April, it's a pretty big thing. And some of the things that I could talk about is the transactions from from players, from teams to teams, you know, whether it's in baseball or whether in football. Like, for instance, some of the transactions right now in baseball, for all my sports fans out there, like, for instance, Freddie Freeman going to the Dodgers. I mean, he signed a 6-year contract for $162 million. Now, that I did not see coming, because, like, I find it kind of dumb, because how are you going to go from a team... Okay, because Freddie Freeman really just came off from winning a World Series, right? The 2021 World Series. And he beat the Dodgers to go on to winning the World Series. How the heck are you going to go from winning a World Series to going to a team that literally only wins the National Division? Like, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but, like, literally, Dodgers lost all of their pitchers, if I'm being honest. Like, they lost Joe Kelly, they lost Kenley Jansen. Like, those two pitchers are literally, like, they leave a big impact on the Dodgers. Like, Kershaw, and they even lost Max Scherzer. I forgot about that. Max Scherzer moved to the New York Mets. Like, that's, like, how are you gonna go from winning a world champion to going to the team that you literally... I can't put it in the right words. It's just it really annoys me. Like, not to offend, you know, Freddie Freeman fans. Like, I do enjoy it. Like, the guy is a really good baseball player, and, you know, he has the stats to back it up. But I don't agree with it. Like, I don't know. And it's funny because now all the Atlanta fans are all salty, you know. And I think the only reason why I'm salty is because, like, you know, I grew up in the Bay, so I'm a Giants fan, and I'm not trying to be biased here or anything, but, like, you know, it's just, it sucks now, because now we're gonna have to go against Freddie Freeman, and Freddie Freeman is a really good baseball player, and, you know, literally he just hit a triple in the spring season. I mean, come on. Like, I don't know. I don't see it. But, you know, some other transactions, you know, other from Freddie Freeman going to the Dodgers is, like, you know, Carlos Correa going to the Twins. I mean, he signed a 3-year contract to $105.3 million. I mean, that's pretty insane. But really, my favorite transaction is Jock Peterson going to the San Francisco Giants. I mean, this kid just came off from winning a back-to-back World Series win. In 2020, he won the World Series with the Dodgers. And then in 2021, he won the World Series with the Atlanta Braves. I mean, if this keeps up, you know, who knows? 2022, the Giants might win the World Series with Jock Peterson, and Jock Peterson would have won back-to-back World Series, and I don't think that's ever been done before. Jock Peterson did sign a 1-year contract with the Giants for $6 million, and I don't know if the Giants are gonna keep Jock Peterson afterwards. I think it's very most likely. I mean, the Giants have pretty good, you know, a pretty good rotation, and they have good home run hitters. I think adding Jock Peterson is just, like, you know, pretty insane. I think the Giants may win the World Series, and I'm not saying that, you know, I'm trying to be biased, but hey, you look at the rotation, you know, Alex Wood, they just got Alex Cobb from the Angels, and although they lost, you know, Kevin Gausman and Chris Bryant and Donovan Solano, they came back with some pretty good pitchers. I mean, Carlos Rodon, you know, I don't know. I'm really trying not to sound biased, because at the same time, you know, the New York Mets, whoo, I gotta be honest, I am afraid of the New York Mets now. I am completely afraid of the New York Mets. I mean, Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, I think they got Stroman as well. I mean, I'm just afraid. I mean, they got Lindor, they had Javier Baez, but, you know, then he went to the Detroit Tigers. I mean, come on, dude. Like, if you're a sports fan, like, I mean, even though Jacob deGrom just, you know, I think he got injured. He has, like, a stress in his shoulder or something like that. But I mean, he's just gonna miss, like, the first few days of opening day, I think, or like 3 months, I think it said. But still, I mean, once he comes back, that mix between Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer, I don't know, man. I just don't know. It's scary, but those are some of the transactions that I know. Now, okay, for any sports fans out there, like, the biggest transaction that really surprised me wasn't even in the baseball. It wasn't even in Major League Baseball. It was in the football. It was in the National League Football. I mean, this is already old news, but like, what surprised me, the biggest transaction was Russell Wilson going to the Denver Broncos for a 1 year and $24 million. Now, if I'm correct, he also has an extension of $27 million in 2023, meaning that in 2022, he's going to be given $24 million, but once he goes into 2023, it's going to go up to 27. The reason why this surprises me, but at the same time it doesn't, is because when you think of Seattle Seahawks in general, you think of pretty much of Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson is the face of the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, but at the same time, I say I'm not surprised because like the Seahawks were, I think, 7-10 last year, and they placed 4th in their division, which is not so great. And I'm pretty sure Russell Wilson has won his rings, but like, I think he only has won like 1. I mean, how many rings does Russell Wilson have? How many? Here, I'm about to do some more research. How many Super Bowl rings does Russell Wilson have? He only has 1, and that was in the 2014. Was that the one? Wait, I'm trying to remember the 2014 one. Was that the one where no, that's not the one where he goes. Oh yeah. That's where he actually went against the Denver Broncos, wasn't it? Where like, let me see. Let me see if I could pull up a video. It says the former Seahawks quarterback previously won Super Bowl. I can never read Roman numerals. Coincidentally against the Broncos, back in 2014. Yeah, that's when he won against the Broncos. But I mean, let's be real. That's when the Broncos. Let's be real. That's when the Broncos. Oh my gosh, sorry, I keep hitting. It's because I have like this small space and I literally have barely any room to move. Yeah, so in 2014, I don't think the Broncos had anybody good. I mean, surprised that they made it to the Super Bowl, but they didn't really have anybody at the time. I mean, they probably, like the Cincinnati Bengals, I think they got there by, luck. I mean, come on. Like, if you get offended to that, like, that's, you gotta open up your eyes, man. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals, they went to the Super Bowl to go against the Rams. But it was, they got there by luck. I mean, how the heck are the Chiefs gonna go to overtime against the Cincinnati and then go on to lose it? Like, and the Chiefs have better players than Cincinnati, and the Chiefs have went to the Super Bowl in back-to-back Super Bowls, and they even won one against the 49ers, which we don't talk about. But yeah, like, I mean, I don't know. It's shocking. It really, like, going back to the trend to Russell Wilson leaving the Seattle Seahawks. Like, it's surprising because, I've seen Russell Wilson go with, stay with Seattle Seahawks for a while. Like, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to see him go. It's gonna be different seeing him in orange. It's gonna be something getting used to. It's like Tom Brady, when he moved to Tampa Bay after the whole Patriots thing. But yeah, I to me that was the biggest transaction. But transactions, like things like that, like Russell Wilson going to the Broncos, Freddie Freeman to the Dodgers, like things like that I could talk about when it comes to sports, and when it comes to sports as well, like for instance, right now the biggest thing is the NBA finals. Like basketball, like the NBA finals are coming up. I think it like starts in June. No, when does the NBA finals start? I should have put that down in my notes. When is the NBA finals? I can't type. Oh Jesus, I can't type at all. When is the NBA finals? Yeah, see, it is in June. Yeah, 2022 NBA finals will begin on Thursday, June 2nd, and end on Sunday, June 19th. Yeah. So right now the NBA finals are pretty big. Again, trying not to be biased here, but because I was raised in the what did I just drop? Not working. I dropped this icy hot biofreeze. Sorry. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah. That, trying not to sound biased here. But because I was raised in the Bay Area, I have my money on the Warriors, even though, they're not doing so great. If I'm being honest, I mean, Stephen Curry got injured. I think he has like a sore foot or something like that. And pretty much, I mean, he says he's fine now, but like, it says that, according to sources, it says that he's going to get reevaluated after the season's over, which I think it just ended. So, like, I don't know. I don't know if the Warriors are going to make it all the way. I am hoping they do. I'm faithful to the Bay, But I wouldn't be shocked if they don't make it because, I mean, it's because they need all their players back. But try not to be biased here, Let me know who you guys have going into the NBA finals. Who else is in the finals? Or who else is in the playoffs? Sorry. Who made it to the playoffs? Let me see. Right. Okay, so in the Eastern Conference, we have the Heat, the Celtics, the Bucks, the 76ers, the Raptors, and the Bulls. Now in the Western Conference, we have the Suns, that's their name, the Grizzlies, obviously the Warriors, the Mavericks, and the Jazz. Now between those 11 teams, I think it's gonna, like, I'm not gonna say the Warriors because I feel like it's too soon. I mean, the Warriors right now are 50-29 and they're in third place. I mean, they were coming into the season, they were in first place. I don't know, I don't know what happened, but their defense was just not all there. But I wouldn't be shocked to see if I see maybe the Bucks again. I mean, they did just come off, winning the 2021 NBA Finals. Maybe the Bucks versus the Grizzlies. No, maybe the Bucks versus the Suns. I wouldn't be surprised to see Chris Paul going into the finals. Yeah, I see the Bucks going against the Suns in the finals. Now, if that was the case, who would I have my money on? Well, since I am from the Western Conference, I think I would have to put my money on the Suns, even though, what's his name? Shoot, I can never pronounce his name. The Greek guy. What's his name? And I can't pronounce his name. Giannis. That's his name. Oh my gosh, that's his name, Giannis. I cannot pronounce his last name though. Like I said, Giannis is a good player. I mean, the dude is tall. I would love to meet him one day. I mean, they just come off their last game was when was the last game? The last game was against the Bulls, and they won 127-106. So, and that was on the what's today, the 6th? That was on the 5th of April. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to be that. But on that note, talking about basketball, March Madness did just come to an end, and apparently the national championships are Kansas, which round of applause to them. Round of applause. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I had Gonzaga going all the way. I had Gonzaga versus Arizona going against each other in the championship, which, you know, it kind of sucks. I didn't see Kansas going all the way. I think I don't know what seed they were. I think they were number 1, to be fair. So yeah, Gonzaga lost to the number 4 seed Arkansas, 74-68. It sucks. Let me know who you guys had in the March Madness tournaments for all my sports fans out there. Or if you don't have to be a sports fan, you could just, you know, guess. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I can't complain about that. I think I lost in like the first round, to be fair though, because I had, if I remember correctly, I had Miami go up against hold on, let me see. Let me pull my bracket. March Madness bracket. I had Miami go against what was the other team? It was like I lost in like the first round, and I was doing pretty solid too. Let me see. Yeah, I had. Where are they? Yeah, the West. Where's Miami again? Miami is not West. Miami is Midwest, right? Yeah. See, I had Miami going against Auburn. Is that how you pronounce that? I had Miami going against Auburn, and they freaking lost due to. Oh no. Wait, hold on. Let me pull. Okay, no. Back it up. I had Miami going up against Iowa, and I had Iowa beating Miami. I think so. Or what was the game? No. Back up. Okay. I had Miami going up against USC, and Miami losing to USC. I had USC moving on. But freaking USC choked it, and they lost due to freaking free throws. I mean, the game was close. The game ended in 68-66. They literally tied it up with like, I think 4 seconds to go. And then all of a sudden, they give up a foul, and they give up a free throw. I mean, they were tied. Keep that in mind. They were tied. And they freaking gave up free throws in order to go on and lose the game. I mean, that is just shocking. Like, yeah, 68-66. I mean, the team stats, you know, USC, they were 19 for 42. Their field goals were not so great, 7-16. I mean, it's okay. Free throws, 9-14. Yeah, it was just, like, all around, I cannot believe that happened. But, you know, that's why they call it March Madness, because, you know, anything can happen. But, yeah. I lost in like the first round, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just disappointed. Anyways, moving on. But yeah, see, like details, examples like that when it comes to sports, I could really talk about that. Like going back into my topics. See, things like that, like basketball is a really big sport, and you know, so is baseball, so is football, and just, you know, sports in general. Like there's many topics that I can talk about, and you know, I can go on and on for days. Now, if there's any more topics that you guys would like for me to cover, you know, please do tell me in the, you know, whether in the comments or whatever. Because, you know, always remember, guys, that I would take suggestions any day. You know, I take constructive criticism any day, you know, because it helps me improve both physically and mentally. So, you know, any suggestions, any ideas that you guys would like for me to cover, you know, please do tell. But anyways, that brings up to my last topic that I want to talk about, and that is how constructive criticism should be taken, and what exactly is constructive criticism. Now, I had this talk the other day with one of my dad's friends, because apparently they listened to the podcast, which, by the way, shout out, you know who you are. Basically, we were talking about constructive criticism in general and how I would take, you know, suggestions any day, because I feel like they help me improve. But we were talking about how, you know, people take constructive criticism differently, and how they see it. Now, for me, constructive criticism is basically like negative feedback, or just like negative feedback on whatever that one may be talking about or hosting about, or it's just basically has something to do with like somebody putting out their opinion on something, or it's just things like that in general. Like I think it's just I take it like that. I don't know if you guys have a different point of view on it, but yeah, that's how I see it. Now, how it should be approached is a little bit different. Now, when it comes to constructive criticism, you gotta have thick skin. Obviously, you cannot be sensitive. When it comes to receiving constructive criticism, you gotta have thick skin. Most humans become very defensive when it comes to constructive criticism. When it comes to criticism in general, really. And my advice for that is pretty much you gotta always look past your initial reaction. The way I see it is that instead of becoming so defensive, try asking questions and about how one can improve on whatever the subject may be. Because by asking questions about how can one improve, it can really help you in the long road. And it pretty much, it could develop your mindset, and it could bring you to new ideas and new topics and things like that. I want to talk about this topic with someone who really takes constructive criticism well. I mean, I take constructive criticism pretty well. I don't get offensive so easily. Like, the only time I get offensive is obviously when freaking people talk about my family. That's pretty much it. But I could take criticism any day. Like, I'll take it straight to the face. Freaking like Chris Rock, the way he took, Will Smith's slap. But yeah, you gotta have thick skin, and always remember, to dedicate yourself to continuous improvement, as you are your most precious resource, and although, you gotta be careful too when it comes to this criticism, because criticism could, it usually comes from people who have negative backgrounds, and and sometimes the people would give just criticism just to bring down people's self-esteem. But then again, that brings back to my point of having thick skin. You gotta have thick skin. You can't be very sensitive. But yeah, it's just that's how I think people should approach constructive criticism. Like, I don't know if you guys have a different point of view about it, but if you do, let me know. But yeah, that's how I think it should be approached. And we gotta help each other out. We gotta guide each other. This world needs a lot of helping, and I think if we just help each other, and if we just guide each other for the greater good, then I think that we'll be able to come together as a union and as a nation, and we'll be able to go on to live the dream that Martin Luther King had for us, the idea that Martin Luther King had for us when he gave his "I Have a Dream" speech. It's pretty much because unity is what we need right now. There's equality needs to be improved. It's just something that we need to work on, man. Because when it comes to criticism and things like that, people become so defensive, and they don't realize that, hey, I'm just trying to help you, and it's and things like that, people becoming so defensive, it leads to, division and people just fighting over each other, literally for the dumbest things too, which is, so dumb. But yeah, that's my idea when it comes to criticism and just people becoming so defensive. Yeah, if you guys have anything to add, if you guys want me to say anything, please do share it, please do let me know. But other than that, I think that's all the time that I have for today. Thank you guys so much for listening and for tuning in. Thank you guys so much, for sticking with me. If you guys haven't, done so already, please sure to subscribe. Please sure to share this podcast, and make sure to spread positivity. And yeah, I think that's all I have for today. So I'll see y'all guys in the next one. Adios, mi amigos.